Bad, bad, bad. Ooh. So we took that off, but look at that. Let's see here. Nasty. Woo! Hard to get up in there. All right, I closed the port so it don't get dirty, but this was like oil and stuff, and then coolant because it spilled when I took it apart, but and it was wet and it sprayed everywhere, but I'm gonna have to clean it up anyway. But I have a steamer, and then what I'm gonna do is use a degreaser, and I used to do environmental cleanup and stuff, so this stuff's environmental friendly. Simple Green, the bottle 50/50. I'm just gonna spray it, let it sit, and then let it sit, and then let it do its thing. Back up the car, Prius, doing the EGR valve, coolant, EGR valve, and the cooler in the back there. And then while I was at it, took the front off and gonna clean it. I did majority of the tear down yesterday, or tear apart per se, and took a lot of components out. And then I couldn't get to the back over here with some difficulties, and then I didn't have a specialty Torx E8 socket, so I went and got that today. But today I'm just gonna give myself some more room. I was trying to do it without removing this, but I'm just gonna remove that whole top tray and this, and just so I can get down up and behind and get there. Some wires and stuff are in the way, but you know, clips and moving things around. But yeah, so this is the day 2, or I should say, if I started yesterday in the morning, this would have been how many hours? Let's say 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, maybe 5 hours. And then, but then that's not including last night cleaning the parts. And I have it set up here because I live in a trailer park. I don't have a garage, but got my coolant ready to go. Got my tools set up. But last night cleaned out a little bit. I'm gonna clean it a little bit more in the kitchen. And then this was gunked up, so we got that cleaned out. The PCV valve or EGR pipe, whatever it may be. But yep, so that's the setup. And hopefully if I put this all together, stitch it together in the video, I'll show some before and afters. I had some knocking issues, and I'm trying to do this before, I was trying to get this done before I do, you know, the head gasket, or if there was a head gasket problem, but it started knocking. Okay, I sprayed it down with Simple Green all the way from the top up here where there's oil and grease. Make sure I cover the ports. I used more rags and stuff underneath of my car, so people thinking that I'm polluting the earth. I have an old pillow that we were gonna throw out, so use it as a soak rag, and then everything else. But like I said, once again, the Simple Green in itself, a 50/50 with water, and Simple Green is a good cut and degreaser, and it's environmental friendly. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the face off, clean up some stuff, and then open this up. Maybe try to clean it out a little bit more inside of here, you know, with some brake cleaner, soaked rags, and then like get what I can. And then what I'm gonna do is I have an air compressor hose that can fit down in there, can blow it out, and a vacuum tube needle. We're gonna do that on another video. January is cold out, so it has more steam than usual because it's cold outside. But I have a little steam buggy here, and we're gonna steam the engine bay back and forth, so I make sure because I don't want to power wash anything. So, all right, that's where the EGR valve and EGR cooler go. So sorry about the light, but I was steam cleaning, and this is the after result. I had those ports, sorry, I'm using my flashlight as a pointer, covered with towels and stuff, and then used that simple green degreaser, and then did a couple rounds of steaming, some wiping. When you're using the steam, you don't want it to get wet and saturate with water, so I have rags, plain rags and towels to soak up the puddles. You know, I like the steam because it's it'll evaporate. It's December like 2nd or 3rd now. The 2nd, I'm sorry. It's January 2nd, I'm sorry. Happy New Year 2021. And it's in Ohio and it's cold, so the steam you know, it clouds up this whole engine bay when I'm working on it, so I had to like point it out of the engine and then go back in. But I cleaned out the ports for this into the, so this is the after, all right, video. And then I took a little abrasive what is it, my air tool, and then was able to smooth this and clean this out. So, all right. Rattling noises from a Prius Gen 3 possibly. Here in the engine, I go up and over. Had to take this top tray out, but I noticed when I'm working on the EGR and the EGR cooler, but I noticed that there's this heat shield and the bolt was busted and it was down, you know, so I'm assuming when I drive it was like it would bounce up and down and flap. So what I did was I just basically, that bolt right there, it was snapped off and it was just dangling. So what I did was just I pulled this up as much as I could so then it won't rattle when I'm going down the road. So I didn't want to, like, I thought about cutting it off like right there with the Sawzall or snips or something, but I just, you know, I just pull it up, and then it's over the, I don't know what they call that, the exhaust, the forward to, goes right before the catalytic converter. So if you ever have a rattle, it could be that, the heat shield up on top of your engine. All right, EGR valve is in, EGR cooler in the back is in, all the hoses, all connections. Put the engine all back together, the front end I should say, after it was clean. This was yesterday, I let it sit overnight so any of the water or moisture on any of the electrical wires and connections dried up a little bit more before starting the engine. And then I did the maintenance mode. Oh, I'm sorry, before the maintenance mode, I went underneath the car and drained all the coolant because it drained some when I was replacing the parts and it was leaking and whatnot. And so I was like, might as well just go ahead and do the whole system flush while I'm at it. So I drained it out, let it sit, and then now I filled it back up, and then I went into the Prius maintenance mode. And then now it's running just on the gas engine. The hybrid system is not running. I am running Asian specific antifreeze for Toyota. This is a Gen 3. So basically I'm waiting for this system to the fan. I watched the YouTube video, and I'm waiting for the fan to kick on, knowing that the coolant system is running through. So I don't know if I'm supposed to turn on some heater or the air conditioner or something to kick it on, or just let it come up to optimal temperature. So I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes and see if the fan, excuse me, kicks on, and we'll go from there, and we'll top it off and see if we have to add any more. I got a light here, so let's take a look, see if we can some of the work here. Nice and clean. And it's raining outside, and I have a canopy over my car in my driveway. I don't have a garage, so lucky me, right? In Ohio in January. So here's the side. Come on, focus, baby. So it's a little bit cleaner from when I gave it that simple green and the steam bath. Replace that part, one behind it there, tore all this off, cleaned everything there. Sorry, I got the mask on. And then cleaned the engine bay, simple green steam bath, cleaned all the parts and components, air filter, put all that shit back, and then running a coolant flush. I drained before I started the car, I drained everything out, the radiator, and flushing it. YouTube video says run it in maintenance mode, and then wait for the bubbles to stop bubbling, which is still bubbling. And it said wait for the fan to kick on. The fan did kick on a couple times. There it is, bam. And she's nice and quiet, so we'll see. The fucking GS is fucking alive.